Howdy folks, and welcome to the Hillbilly Kitchen. Today we're going to be making peanut butter cups. Now, basically for peanut butter cups, you need peanut butter and you need some butter. And I have 1 cup of peanut butter and 1/4 cup of butter. That's 4 tablespoons. And you have to have some powdered sugar. And I've got a cup plus a little bit more because you're going to add the powdered sugar until you get it to the right consistency. Now, I have seen a lot of recipes for this where they use up to 3 cups of powdered sugar for each cup of peanut butter. You do not want to do that, because if you do, your peanut butter cups are not going to taste very much like peanut butter. They're just going to taste sugary. The powdered sugar really doesn't have any flavor. It's just to stiffen up your peanut butter in your peanut butter cups. Now I'm going to dip my peanut butter in some dark chocolate, and these are just dark chocolate candy pieces that are made to melt and coat candy. And I'm going to make some milk chocolate and dip some of them in milk chocolate. And to do that, you need 1/2 cup of milk chocolate chips and 1/2 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips and about 1 tablespoon of coconut oil or shortening. And what the coconut oil or the shortening, and I like the coconut oil, I think it tastes better in the candy coating, and it's also a little healthier than shortening. But what that does is it makes your chocolate shiny. Now, I've also got some white chocolate pieces over here that I have already melted because I've been making other candy. It's Valentine's Day, and I want to dress some of these up a little bit just by drizzling some of that white chocolate across the top. Now, that's definitely optional. You don't have to do that, and you can do just one kind of dip, either the dark chocolate or the milk chocolate, just whatever you want. But I wanted to give you a few options. Now, this is fairly simple. I'm going to start by dumping in my 1 cup of powdered sugar. That'll kind of keep my peanut butter from all sticking in the bottom. And then I'm going to add my peanut butter. And this, by the way, is no cook and no bake. It's a very simple recipe for candy that is very hard to mess up. And I'm going to add my butter. You can use a mixer to mix this, but when you're mixing powdered sugar, you run a very high risk of making a mess. Before we start mixing that, let's go ahead and dump this chocolate in here that we're going to be melting together and get rid of some of this stuff. Oh, I almost forgot. You want a teaspoon of vanilla in this too. And you do want about a teaspoon of vanilla for every cup of peanut butter. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and add this other 1/3 cup of powdered sugar because I want my peanut butter filling a little bit thicker than what it is. But I would not add any more than the 1 1/4 cups per cup of peanut butter because you'll just dilute your peanut butter too much. Okay, that looks real good. Now, if you just want to do peanut butter balls out of this and dip the peanut butter balls and then sit them out on wax paper, you're going to need to put this in the refrigerator for at least an hour. But because I'm going to put it in these cute little candy cups, I'm going to try to do it without refrigerating it. But what putting it in the refrigerator does is it really stiffens up your peanut butter and your butter so that you can hang on to it while you're dipping it down in the chocolate. hands. When you're making candy, you want to make sure you have a roll of paper towels ready to go, because you're going to get it all over your hands, and it gets so bad that you really can't do anything until you clean your hands off. I'm just going to use a cookie scooper to scoop this out, and I am going to take my spoon and kind of level this off and mash it down in the cookie scooper good, because I want these to be pretty firm and pretty even. And you can see with that 1.25 cups of powdered sugar, this is plenty stiff enough, and my butter was super soft. It's been at room temperature all day. Of course, having really soft butter makes it really easy to mix too, so you do want to leave your butter sitting out before you start mixing this. Oh, and I forgot, I put down some wax paper here to work on. Wax paper is also a must when you're making candy, because it keeps the whole area much cleaner. When you start dipping stuff in chocolate, you're going to get it everywhere. So put down the wax paper, it'll save you a ton of time cleaning up. And this dough would be much easier to work with if I had put it in the refrigerator for about an hour. And you'll definitely want to do that, but we have been really working like crazy trying to get all of these candy videos up before Valentine's Day. And when I have to do a cut to put something in the oven to bake or put something in the fridge, it adds about an hour to the editing process. And poor Brett edits all of our videos, so he's going to have to edit about 2 videos a day between now and Valentine's Day to get them all up. I think I have 6 waiting for him to edit. Samantha has 3 and she's working on another one. And I've got at least 2 more that I have to do. So for his sake, I'm going to work with my soft peanut butter dough. But you will definitely want to put this in the fridge, like I said, for about an hour. It'll make it easier to dip. It'll even make it easier to form into these balls. Alright, now the next step is to melt our chocolate. So we're going to start with our dark chocolate. And I'm going to put this in for about a minute, because it takes dark chocolate a little bit longer to melt than it does milk chocolate. And if you just start with 30 seconds, the dark chocolate hasn't even really started to melt yet. Bring all of our chocolate over here so we can start melting it. Just add the coconut into our milk chocolate, semi-sweet chocolate there. Our milk chocolate in, and we'll start it at 30 seconds. Now that's not going to do a whole lot, but it is going to melt that coconut oil, and I want to get that down in the chocolate so it's not sitting on top while it all melts. I'm just going to put this dark chocolate in for about another 20 seconds. I don't want to get my chocolate really, really hot because my peanut butter balls are soft. I haven't put them in the refrigerator. You will probably, if you have refrigerated yours, want to go at least another 30 seconds so that it stays hot long enough to dip all of your peanut butter balls in. Now, I obviously have more peanut butter balls than I have little cups, and that's okay. I'm just using my muffin pan to hold it together until the chocolate starts to cool a little bit. I don't have to leave it in there until the chocolate completely sets, and then I can take out the ones I've done and I can put some more little candy cups in there and make the rest of my Reese cups. All you're going to do is you're going to drop your peanut butter ball down in the chocolate, and then I'm going to take a fork and get this out. And I'm going to let a little bit drip and just slide it in one of my little candy cups. That's all there is to it. I'm going to do half of them in milk chocolate and half of them in the dark chocolate. And my milk chocolate is actually a little bit cooler than my dark chocolate, so I'm going to get that half first. As I'm doing these, the flat part that was, you know, the top of the cookie scooper when I leveled it off, I'm trying to turn them so that that part is in the bottom of my little baking cup, so the top will kind of be rounded. I just think it's prettier that way. It really doesn't matter. It does fit in the baking cup better that way, so you get more even chocolate and stuff. I said this would be much easier if these had been put in the refrigerator because they're so soft. And when I drop these in here, I'm dropping them in with the rounded side down and then kind of rolling them over in the chocolate. That way, if the bottom doesn't get coated, it doesn't affect the way it looks. The top is all coated real nice and even. Okay, now at this point, you have a peanut butter cup. But because I'm doing these for Valentine's Day, I'm going to take my white bacon pieces that I melted and just drizzle a little bit across the top of them to make them prettier. And you can do this if you're doing them for Christmas too, or if you're giving them away for sure. It just makes them prettier, and it doesn't change the taste that much. The white bacon pieces actually have kind of a vanilla taste, and you know, you're not putting enough on them to change the flavor. But you just pick your spoon up like this so that the chocolate starts dripping off, and then just drizzle it across them. And you don't need to worry about getting this on your pan because you're not baking it on there, and it'll actually come right off. You can just take your finger and rub it off once it gets cool. See why you need the wax paper? I've got chocolate everywhere. And it actually does make your drizzle more even if you start off the edge and end off of the edge. So I'm going to let these cool just a minute, and then I'm going to line my little pan with some new cups, and I'm going to do this again until I get all of my peanut butter dough covered in chocolate. I probably won't drizzle all of them, but I am going to drizzle some of them. I do want to show you real quick though before we end the video, if you want to do them like peanut butter balls, you just dip it the same way. You don't have to have the baking cups. And once you drip it off, you slide it off onto your wax paper just like that. And when it's cooled, it'll peel up off the wax paper. So you don't need the cups. They're just something extra for the holidays, and you can get those cups for all occasions. They make them for Christmas, Easter, they have birthday themes. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you try some homemade candy, because there are a lot of candies that you don't even have to own a pot to cook, and this is one of them. You don't need to be intimidated by trying to get syrup to the right temperature. There's lots and lots of things you can make without even worrying about that. And when you do some stuff like this, it's easier. Then try the stuff with the syrup that you have to practice a lot for. Thanks for joining us again in the Hillbilly Kitchen. Don't forget to click like and subscribe before you leave, and we'll see you next time.